Today I want to tell you a story, one that still gives me chills whenever I think about it. It begins in a small border town called Chester, Nebraska. Life there was peaceful, almost sleepy. People waved to each other from their porches, children played in yards, and doors often stayed unlocked. The kind of place where time seemed to move slowly, and nothing truly frightening ever happened. Or so everyone believed. That calm ended one cold February morning in 2003. Local police received an unusual call. The voice on the other end sounded hesitant, almost nervous. "There's someone here." In a garage. Officers drove out, expecting maybe an abandoned car or a stray animal. The property looked ordinary, a weathered building that had once been a gas station. But when they stepped inside, a heavy stillness settled over them. Behind an old van, under a layer of dust and a faded tarp, they uncovered something no one could have imagined. A human form, dried and preserved as though the years had stopped. A mummy, resting in the middle of Chester. Shock rippled through the town. Who was this person? Why had no one come looking? And how could something like this remain hidden for so long? The remains were sent to Dr. Okoye, a forensic pathologist known for his steady hands and patient heart. Examining what little time had left intact, he noticed signs of serious injury, breaks along the nose and skull, a deep groove on the back of the head. There were traces of wrapping and a plastic covering. Whoever this woman was, her final moments hadn't been calm. Someone had caused harm and tried to erase the evidence. Investigators turned to the house connected to the garage. Entering was like stepping into a forgotten photograph. Dust coated every surface. Faded Christmas ornaments still hung where someone had left them in 1997. A dinner table remained set, complete with plates of broccoli turned stone hard with age. It looked as though the people who once lived there had simply walked out, leaving life frozen in place. Digging through old papers, police found two names, John Mooney and Janet Brusso. Residents vaguely remembered a quiet couple who kept to themselves, arriving in town without fanfare and later disappearing without explanation. As officers traced Janet's history, a clearer picture emerged. She was a free spirit, warm but restless, who often roamed from one state to another. Her family adored her but was used to long silences. She'd vanish for months and then call as if no time had passed. Because of that, no one realized she had been gone for years, step by step. Evidence linked the mysterious woman in the garage to Janet. Even pollen grains from her stomach matched the withered broccoli left on the kitchen table, suggesting her final meal had been right there. Whoever caused her end hadn't taken her far. The house itself had witnessed everything. The focus shifted to finding John Mooney. Property tax records revealed he still paid on the home in Chester, despite being nowhere near it. A nationwide search led detectives to Oceanside, California, where John was living quietly with a new partner. He seemed surprised by the knock on his door, but behind his calm exterior, officers sensed unease. Questioning began. At first, John denied knowing anything. He insisted Janet had simply gone off on one of her adventures. But the investigators kept pressing, gently presenting each detail. The scene in the house, the scientific findings, the timeline. Slowly, John's account began to shift. He admitted that life with Janet could be intense. She was lively, independent, and sometimes sharp with words. He claimed an argument one night in 1997 turned physical, that he lost control, picked up a heavy metal tool, and struck out in anger. Afterward, he said, fear clouded his judgment. He placed a covering over her, cleaned up the scene, moved her to the garage, and drove away at dawn, leaving the town, and the truth, behind. Janet remained there, waiting silently, for 6 long years until a stranger's phone call revealed her presence. In court, John's lawyers tried to frame it as self-protection, but forensic science painted a different picture. The injuries, the careful concealment, the calm afterward, none of it matched an impulsive accident. Faced with overwhelming proof, John Mooney accepted responsibility for second-degree murder, receiving a 15-year sentence. For Janet's family, the verdict could never erase their loss, but it finally gave them clarity. They were able to speak her name, to mourn properly, to remember her laugh and the way she lit up a room. Chester, too, learned a hard lesson. Even in a town where everyone seems to know everyone else, shadows can hide in plain sight. Janet Brusso was more than a mystery in a garage. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, a life that mattered. And at last, after years of silence, she was found and remembered,